At Roxy's, customers often report to us that their FR-4X is defective because it does not properly save their instrument selections, requiring that they reselect them again every time they turn their instrument back on. But in every case, the problem was a misunderstanding about what gets saved in a user set or in a user program. The confusion is particularly prevalent for people whose prior experience is the FR-7X, for the reason that that model does not support the user program feature. So for those people, the whole concept of a user program is something new. Okay, let me start by saying a few things about sets. It doesn't take long for most people to discover that any model v accordion, being electronic, can simulate different models and types of acoustic accordion. Roland calls these different simulations sets. I think it's an appropriate name, since when talking about different makes and models of acoustic accordion, many people make the point that each has their own unique set of reeds. So changing accordion simulations can be regarded as changing reed sets. Hence, Roland calls them sets. The FR-4X has 67 different accordion sets. Many have traditional names like Concerto, Old Paris, Ciao Rome, etc. You can learn the names of all the sets that Roland builds into the instrument at the factory by referring to the official set and tone list document. Roland has also published a supplementary document that tells you the exact details of every selectable reed combination in every set on the FR-4X. Both of these documents are available for free download from Roland's website. So there's no excuse for you not knowing the various sets that are on your instrument, as well as what reed combinations are available in each one. After a short time, you may decide that there is one particular set that you like best, one that you want to use for most of your playing. Suppose, for the sake of example, that that set happens to be Ciao Rome, which is set 36. To use that set whenever you turn your instrument on, you have to navigate to it using the plus and minus buttons, right? So you think, wouldn't it be nice if every time you turn your instrument on, it comes up with your favorite set, Ciao Rome, already active, thus saving you the trouble of navigating to it every time? Sure. But that's not all. After navigating to set 36, Ciao Rome, you notice that whenever you first turn the instrument on, the treble side reed combination is always master, register button number 4. In much of your general playing, you might want to use something different, like musette, for example, which is typically register button number 6. Oh, and what about the bass side? Like a lot of V accordionists, you might like to use the orchestral bowed bass sound on the bass notes. Well, I have to press the bass note button plus the number 2 register button on the bass side. And maybe you'd like to use the organ or virtual tone wheel sounds for the bass chords. I have to press the bass chord button, followed by the number 2 register button on the bass side. And how about turning on the percussion? I press the drums button. Well, wouldn't it be nice if the instrument could be made to conveniently recall all of these instrument selections? Sure. At this point, many people think that to preserve all of the selections that I have made so far, navigating to a set, as well as various register button and mode selections, they should perform a set save operation. But guess what? If I did a set save operation right now, absolutely none of the selections you saw me make would be preserved after shutting the instrument off. The next time I turn the instrument on, I would have to navigate to set 32 and select everything else all over again myself. Can't the FR-4X remember such things? Well, of course it can, but just not in the way that you're thinking. To begin with, making the instrument automatically come up on a particular set other than set 001 is not a set level operation, but a system level operation. So simply navigating to set 36 chow Rome and doing a set save isn't enough. Somehow I need to tell the instrument what I want at a more global or system level. To do that, I need to use the system menu. Watch me do it. First, I press the menu button. Next, I navigate to the system menu title by pressing the right arrow button 11 times. To enter the system menu, I press the enter button. Is this making sense? I hope so. Now I press the right arrow button 19 times to navigate to the startup set parameter. Its purpose is to specify to the system what set to activate automatically at power on. I press and hold the plus button until the parameter value reads 36. Of course, for this parameter change to be in effect after I turn the instrument off, I must save, right? But remember, I'm in the system menu, not one of the set menus. Hence, I must do a system save, not a set save. I press and hold the menu button. The instrument anticipates by presenting me with the write system screen, which means that it will write to the instrument's permanent, non-volatile memory my system level parameter adjustment. I press the right arrow button to proceed. Then the yes button to confirm. I watch as the write system operation executes, and I am returned to my place within the menu system. At this point, I can turn the instrument off. When I turn it back on, I will automatically be taken to the chow Rome set 36. It worked. How about that? However, my previous read combination and base side selections did not come up. At this point, I would have to reselect them all over again. So now you ask, shouldn't a set save operation make such selections permanent? No. The purpose of a set save is to preserve within the instrument's permanent, non-volatile memory set data changes, not operational actions within a set, like register button selections, for example. To be clear, pressing register buttons and mode buttons don't actually change the internal data that defines a set. They simply change what part of the data is currently active, which of course is a very good thing. You don't want your various register button selections modifying the internal data that defines each set, do you? Of course not. Okay, so how do you specify to the instrument a series of instrument feature selections, or actions if you will, such that they can be conveniently recalled at any time in the future? That, on the FR-4X, requires the user program feature. By creating a user program, which I do by saving to a user program location, I am effectively saying, Whenever I activate that user program location, which I do by pressing the appropriate register button while in user program mode, I want the instrument to recall and activate all of the instrument feature selections that were active at the time that I saved that user program. So you see, it's not a set save, but rather a user program save operation that I need to do. But before showing that to you, I recommend that you back up or archive your user programs that are currently in User Program Bank number 1 to USB memory. This will allow you to recover them at a later time. How do you do that? It's not hard. It's done with the export utility. The procedure is well presented on page 40 of the reference manual. Of course, you need to plug a USB flash drive into your instrument. I recommend for this experiment that you use a fresh drive, one on which you have not yet saved anything. I start by pressing the menu button. I then press and hold the right arrow button until I get to the very last menu item, the utility menu. I press the enter button to enter the menu. I press the right arrow button 7 times to get to the export submenu. I press the enter button to enter the export submenu. The instrument responds by reporting that it will export a set. I don't want that. I want to export a user program. I press the plus button. The LCD reports that it will now export a user program. Great. That's what I want. I press the right arrow button to proceed. The LCD now reports that it will export all user programs on the instrument. That is, it will create in USB memory a single file that contains all the current definitions of all 7 user program banks, which consists of 98 user program locations. I don't actually want that. For my purposes, archiving a single user program bank is preferable. So I press the plus button. The instrument responds by reporting that it will export a user program bank. Great, that's what I want. I press the right arrow button to proceed. The LCD indicates that it will export bank number 1. Again, this is what I want. I press the right arrow button to proceed. The LCD now reports the name of the file that it will create in USB memory. If on your instrument your user program bank number 1 is the default that Roland ships from the factory, that name will be fine. However, if your user program bank number 1 is a Richard Knoll installation, then you can indicate so by inserting the letters RN. Watch how I do it. I press the number 3 button to insert 3 extra spaces. I press the number 1 button to get capital letters. I press the plus button to get an R. I press the right arrow button. I press the number 1 button to get letters. I press the plus button to get an N. I press the right arrow button. I press the number 1 button twice, the minus button, to get an underbar. If your user program bank number 1 is a custom installation from another source, well, indicate so with appropriate letters. In my case, I have a generic Roland default user program bank number 1, so I will accept the default name. When I'm satisfied with the name, I press and hold the right arrow button until the cursor scrolls all the way to the end of the edit field, at which point the LCD will ask me to confirm. I confirm by pressing the Yes button. There, my user program bank number 1 is saved to USB memory. Okay, with your user program bank number 1 properly backed up, I don't have to worry about me being the cause of you making changes on your instrument that you cannot recover from. So now I can get back to the purpose of this video, which is to show you how, on the FR-4X, you can have the instrument remember a wide variety of instrument feature selections for instant recall at some future time. This is, in fact, the basic purpose of the user program feature. Think for a minute about what the word program on a computer means. Typically, we view programs, also called applications, as series of instructions for the computer to execute, typically for the purpose of accomplishing some task or action. Even when you are playing solitaire on your computer, inside the computer is executing a series of instructions. Well, think now about your FR-4X. When you choose different sounds as well as activate certain playing modes, you are performing actions. To recall those same selections, you want to give your FR-4X instructions to perform the very same actions that you did. Hence, the word program is appropriate for this feature. Additionally, since it is you who is deciding what specific actions are to be done, and since, using computer lingo, you are the user, then the phrase user program is appropriate for this feature, don't you think? At its most basic level, within the instrument, a user program is a series of instructions representing actions that you want your FR-4X to do, and you want it done conveniently at the push of a single button. So when you create or save a user program, you are programming your instrument. You aren't programming in the same manner as a computer programmer using the C++ or C# programming languages. No, you don't have to write out your instructions in text. Instead, you simply choose yourself on the instrument whatever actions you want the user program to accomplish, and then you save the resulting condition of the instrument to a particular user program location. To be explicitly clear, let me repeat, I am effectively saying, whenever I activate that user program location, I want my instrument to recall and activate all of the instrument feature selections that were active at the time that I saved that user program. Okay, you are now looking at my instrument in the same condition that you saw earlier. The currently active set is Chow Rome. I have selected register button number 6 on the treble side for musette, turned on orchestral bass notes and bass chords, as well as selected bowed bass and virtual tone wheel, respectively. And finally, I have activated the percussion section. To save this complete collection of instrument feature selections, I press and hold the Save button. The instrument responds by offering to perform a system save operation. I don't want that, so I press the plus button. The instrument now offers to perform a set save operation. I don't want that either. Again, I press the plus button. Aha! Finally, it offers to perform a user program save operation. I press the right arrow button to proceed. It offers to save to bank number 1. I press the right arrow button to proceed. It offers to save to user program location number 1. I press the right arrow button to proceed. It now gives me an opportunity to give this user program a name. Being able to name my user programs is a tremendous improvement over the FR-1X and FR-3X models. The instrument offers the name user program Chow Rome. Well, why don't I shorten that to just my Chow Rome? In other words, Chow Rome the way I prefer it to come up, ready for me to play. Editing names on your 4X is a skill that you must develop. It's not really complicated or tedious. It's well explained in the reference manual. I now press and hold the right arrow button until the cursor scrolls to the end of the entry field, at which point it will prompt me to confirm. I press the Yes button. Bingo! My user program is saved. Let me prove it. I press the User Program button, followed by User Program Location number 1. And there you have it. The title, My Chow Rome, now appears in the top line of the LCD display. So, now when I turn my instrument on, if I want to play using the Chow Rome set with my favorite collection of feature selections, I can simply press the User Program button, followed by User Program Location number 1. With that, I have completed the goal of this video, which was to demonstrate how on the FR-4X to save and recall your favorite collection of instrument feature selections. You can continue in the same manner, saving other collections of instrument feature selections to different user program locations within the same bank or to any of 7 banks available on the FR-4X, thus giving you convenient access to not just one, but as many as 14 different instrument playing conditions within each bank. And not just for when you first turn the instrument on, but any time during your playing session, depending on what music and what playing strategy you wish to use to play it. And don't forget, at some point, you should archive or export your custom user program bank to USB memory, as I demonstrated earlier in this video, thus allowing you to import different user program banks on an as-needed basis, each designed with a different purpose in mind. Everyone at Roxy's wishes you success with your FR-4X.